The little one had decided exactly where to find God. Up. Past the rooftops, past the clouds, on a shelf too high to reach. That's where God lived. And that's where the little one was going to go and finally get his answer. He was wrong about nearly all of it, but he had to climb the whole hill to find that out. He'd been carrying a question for a long time, a heavy one, the kind you don't say out loud, even to the people who love you. He wasn't even sure anymore that he still believed. And lately, the not knowing had settled into his chest like a cold spot, and his small flame had burned down low, barely a flicker now. So one morning, he picked the tallest hill he could see, and he started to climb. It was further than it looked. The wind turned colder the higher he went. His short legs ached, and the little houses below him shrank into tiny squares of light. But he kept on, because somewhere near the top, he was sure of it. He would finally be close enough for God to hear him. At the very top, out of breath, he stopped. He cupped his small hands around his mouth, and he asked for the one thing he had never dared ask out loud. He asked God to show him, just once, just one small sign that he was really up there, that the little one wasn't kneeling alone on a cold hill, talking to an empty sky. Then he waited. The wind moved through the grass. A single bird crossed the sky and was gone, and nothing answered him. So he asked again, louder this time, in case all that height had swallowed his small voice on the way up. He waited so long his hands went cold. Nothing. And the little one sat down hard on the cold ground, and he thought the loneliest thought he had ever thought. Maybe I'm too small to be heard. Maybe he's just too far up. And then the one that really hurt. Maybe there was never anyone up there at all. His flame guttered, like a candle next to an open window, one breath from going out. He didn't hear the old man come up the hill. He only noticed him when he sat down in the grass beside him, close, but not too close. And the little one noticed something else too. The man had a flame of his own, there on his chest, same as him, but his burned warm and steady and sure, like it had been lit a very long time ago, and nothing in all the years since had managed to blow it out. The man didn't try to fix anything. He just sat, the way you sit beside someone when you know there's nothing to say yet. After a while, the little one spoke first. His voice was very small. "I climbed all the way up here," he said. "I asked him to show me he was real, just once. And he didn't." He stared at his feet. "I think he's just too far up there, too high to bother with something this small. I think maybe he can't hear me at all." The man was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Can I tell you something I wish somebody had told me years before they finally did?" The little one nodded. "You've been looking up," the man said gently, "for a God who was never up there to begin with." The little one frowned. He didn't like that. "But God is up. Everybody knows that. High above everything." His voice wobbled. "That's where he's supposed to be." "I know," said the man. "Let me tell you where that picture comes from. When you're very small, the biggest, strongest one you know is always taller than you, always further up than you can reach, the one you call for when you're afraid. So without ever once deciding to, we draw God the same way. A great big person on a great high shelf way up over our heads. And then we spend the rest of our lives down here, calling up at the ceiling and wondering why the shelf stays quiet." He reached down, picked up a handful of the cold earth and let it run slowly through his fingers. But God was never a bigger version of a person, little one. He doesn't sit somewhere up high, deciding who's worth answering today. He isn't up at all. He's under and over and through. He's in this dirt in my hand. He's in that bird that just flew off. He's in the breath you just took to argue with me. He smiled. He's even in that small flame on your chest, the one burning so low right now. You spent this whole day trying to cross a distance that was never there. You're not far from him. You couldn't be. You're made of the very same light you climbed all this way to shout at. And something in the little one went still. Not because the heavy question was suddenly answered, but because, for the very first time, he wondered if he had been aching with loneliness for a closeness that had never once left his side. His flame lifted, just a little, a small, steady glow, the first warmth he'd felt in a long while. They sat together as the light turned gold across the hills. "Then what's it all for?" the little one finally asked. "If he's everywhere, and he isn't going to just hand me the thing I asked for, then what's the point of any of it?" The man took his time with that one. "I'll tell you what I've come to believe," he said. "And it's only that, what I believe. You'll have to find your own way to it." He nodded down toward the valley, where the first lights were flickering on in the windows of the little houses. A long time ago, those hills went pitch black at night. Now look at them. A little more light every single year. The world keeps opening up, reaching further than it could the day before. I think that's where the whole thing is headed. Not towards some finish line, just onward. The world quietly becoming more than it was. He looked at the little one. And a small life like yours isn't here to watch all that from the outside. You're a part of how it grows. A hand in the work, not a face in the crowd. You always were. He paused. But a hand doesn't help by staying still. The ones who come alive in this are the ones who get up and carry their part of it, who move with the world instead of sitting on the hilltop waiting for the sky to do something. That's the whole invitation, not to wait, to take your part. The little one did not go down the hill the way he had come up it. He stopped shouting at the sky. There was nothing up there to shout at. Now, when he had something to say, he simply said it, quietly, the way you'd talk to someone walking right beside you. Not to change God's mind. You can't talk a steady thing into being something else, but just to come back to it, to get himself pointed true again. And he stopped deciding whether God was near by whether he'd gotten what he asked for. He'd had that backwards the whole climb. The sun isn't fonder of the open field than the shut room. One of them just opened a window. So he did the next small thing in front of him, and then the one after that. And somewhere along the way, without ever quite noticing the moment it happened, his flame had grown warm and steady and sure, like an old man's on a hill. One who had once been small and lost and cold up at the top too, and had climbed the very same way to find it out. He never did find God up on that hill. He found him in the dirt he'd been sitting on, in the breath inside his own chest, in the small, steady flame he had been carrying the whole way up and the whole way back down. He had gone out looking for a God somewhere far away, and he came home to the God who had never, not for one single second, been anywhere but right here.